All right. You can start
All
whenever
right,
you.
so can everyone see my screen? Am I echoing?
No echoes. We can hear you, and we can see the presentation only. Yes.
All right. So, hi all. My name is Baiyu, and I'm here to talk to you about the wonderful world of Creative Commons, featuring Hatsune Miku and friends. The Creative Commons are important to many developers, and some of you might already be familiar with it. Even so, I hope this talk will help everyone learn a bit more about them. So, what is Creative Commons? Creative Commons is an organization that helps people like you and I share their creations with others. Their website has tools to help you find licenses and provides both human read-friendly and full legal text for terms of use. They're all about doing cool stuff like remixing and adapting things. Best of all, the tools that Creative Commons provides are, have been, and will always be free to use. Now, let's get down to the anatomy of a license. Every license is split into 5 components that are simple to understand with easy to recognize symbols. They are Creative Commons, Attribution, Non-Commercial, Share Alike, and no derivatives. Let's take a look at some for example. There's always the Creative Commons portion of each license to denote that it's Creative Commons, of course. CC BY is the most open license available, letting people do whatever they want as long as they credit the original creator. CC BY NC is similar but cannot be used to make a profit. CC BY ND means the original work cannot be edited. CC BY NC ND is the most restrictive license, where the work cannot be edited or sold. So now you're wondering, why should I ever use Creative Commons? Maybe you think, I don't want people to steal my stuff, or why should I share my hard work? Or if it's free, then it has no value. Well, one of the main purposes of the Creative Commons is to provide a pool of resources to the general public. You may not have realized it, but you may have seen Creative Commons or public domain material when you were in school. Many teachers rely on free or low-cost resources to help them in the classroom. The same applies to game devs, especially when it comes to lower budget projects, game jams, or programming the alpha and beta builds of a game. Going from there, I personally like to see it as paying it forward. This community has helped me tremendously when I was in times of need, and I want to do the same for others. Almost all new beginner devs will rely on the knowledge and resources that more experienced devs have to offer, and maybe those spare sprites and backgrounds you have laying around can find a new purpose with someone else. Who knows? Maybe they'll be part of the next Kamige. On a slightly related tangent, I do want to bring up, there are similar licenses to Creative Commons that are for more specific things, like fonts and software. CC, OFL, MIT, GPL, and other types of licenses are all in the spirit of open source, and chances are you're already using those sorts of things. Now that we have that said, let's move on to our best girl, Hatsune Miku. Too long didn't read. The original illustration of Hatsune Miku and other Vocaloids are now CC, BY, and C, with the additional rule that you can't associate or make her do or say anything that would harm Krypton's reputation. So what are you allowed to do? Basically anything on this slide. Now, you might notice that the not section is slightly longer, and I'll give an example to explain. One of the things I can do is take Miku's official art, like this one, and edit it to make a meme post that says, Hatsune Miku made Minecraft. What I can't do is take a picture that was drawn by a different artist, aka non-official art, and make that same post unless I got permission from that artist. Something I definitely cannot do is take either official or fan-made art and edit it to say, Hatsune Miku likes to kick puppies. Don't do that. Miku would never do that. Moving on, you might be wondering why Krypton would take this risk and make one of the world's most popular characters accessible to the ones of any random person. Here's the thing though, they still own their characters. Krypton can do whatever they want with them because it's still their copyright. This is how we have things like the Project Diva series by Sega or the Digimon and Pokemon collaborations. The Creative Commons licensing of the PFO characters ultimately results in more content for everyone to enjoy. So what are you waiting for? Go out there and explore the wonderful world of Creative Commons. Make Miku proud.
Yay.
Okay, so You guys are here for Miku. I don't know why you guys would care about who I am, but disclaimer, I'm not affiliated with Creative Commons, Krypton Media. I'm not a lawyer. Those are my links down below. So if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and shoot. I've got Discord open on my phone, so go ahead.
All right, so put in questions, and also we have a break coming up, and the break will officially, the next talk will start at 3:50, so it's about 10 minutes from now. So if you got to go take care of something, now's a good time to do it.
Okay, so Impish asks, can you explain the ramifications of not following licenses for others who might not be clear? So again, I'm not a lawyer, but if you don't follow a license or any of the additional rules or like terms of use that someone can put onto their work, they have, I believe they have the right to send a cease and desist or takedown notice on your work. You could actually get in legal trouble if you use someone else's copyright or use it in a way that they don't agree with. Now, chances are most indie devs won't catch that attention, but I think that some of you guys have heard of like some fan games such as like the, the Chrono Trigger fan game. I forget the name of that one, but they were making a lot of good progress, and then Square Enix shut them down, and all that progress was lost. I know that it wasn't Chrono Trigger isn't Creative Commons, but that does kind of illustrate the point. Don't use stuff that you're not allowed to use. Okay, now the next question. Mikkel asks, are there specifics on how you need to do attribution? For example, on a game website versus title screen versus credit screen. Now, the Creative Commons website does make this easy to do. Usually, they'll say include this license in like the files or like readme text of a game. If you've been following like the slides and stuff, you see that like for every picture that I have like this little credit note, Hatsune Miku by Krypton Future Media Inc. 2019, based on work, etc. I don't have to do that for every single slide. I just want to illustrate the point that yes, the attribution is something that you need to do somewhere in there. Usually, just put it like somewhere in your credit screen. Personally, I wouldn't say put it small, just make it normal size. Don't trick anyone into thinking that you made this, especially if, you know, it's Hatsune Miku. Next question. For licensing, would it be better to go with the multiple types in the case with open source projects, such as GPL for code and CC for art? The mixing of like those different types of licenses like GPL and CC, those aren't like mutually exclusive. So it's not uncommon to be using something that like, for example, I believe the Ren'Py engine is licensed under the MIT license. There are some code frameworks that are licensed under GPL, and then you might be making your visual novel with some of Uncle Mugen's backgrounds, and all those have different open source licenses. None of them clash with each other, and that's totally cool. It's totally allowed. You can do that. Now, Justy Guy asked, is it hard for someone to get their works, the licenses, so others can use them? I'm assuming you're talking about your own works and not someone else's. The Creative Commons website is free to use, so you can always go on there. They actually have the license picker tool for you, so you could choose what terms of use that you want on there. If I misunderstood your question, I'll hopefully get to that when I scroll down. Impish asks again, what is the overall license of something that uses assets from different levels of licenses? So let me think about that for a while. Okay, so I hope that most of you guys are familiar with itch.io. It's probably one of the most open marketplaces available to indie devs. So probably most everyone here has stuff on there. They also have a huge library of assets available, and some of those have Creative Commons on there. Some of them don't have clear licenses. I want to say that in the case where something doesn't have a clear license attached to it, I would treat it as as CC BY NC non-commercial, because like if they didn't say I want you to use this for free only or etc., it's probably best not to like open any kind of like revenue on it. That does lead me to another point. This is kind of a gray area, but donationware, basically where you offer your product for free, but then you allow people to pay what they want on it. That's kind of a gray area. It is technically considered commercial, even if you're not expecting anyone to drop money. In cases like that, I would recommend, if you do have anything that is licensed by CC BY NC, don't open it to donations. Just keeps yourself out of trouble. Okay, next question. Caddy asks, are there resources you'd recommend for figuring out what's in the public domain and Creative Commons and what isn't? For example, if I want to know if I can make The Great Gatsby a VN, where can I go check? So that's the thing with American copyright. It's kind of crappy, and chances are there's a lot of stuff that is like almost universally known by at least the American populace as like kind of a thing. Like everyone knows Mickey Mouse, everyone knows NFL. Well, Disney. I'm going around in circles. Even the song like Happy Birthday, those things still have copyright on them, and so you can't use them in your stuff. So there isn't really a good answer for where you can check if something still has a copyright. I do know that the Creative Commons website itself does have a public domain like asset search bar. It's not the greatest at finding like specific things. Most of the time you'll find clipboard and stuff, but honestly, if you aren't sure if something is or isn't in public domain or Creative Commons, I would probably go to Wikipedia and see like just check the info down there and like the references or something. Question, what's the difference between CC and open source? Just a guy asked. I'm sorry, I'm starting to run out of breath. So, I mean, Creative Commons is open source. Not all open source is Creative Commons. I would say that Creative Commons more deals with visual and audio and text assets, while like other stuff like the software and code, like I had mentioned before, would probably be like just considered open source and not Creative Commons. It's basically if it's art, not just visual or, excuse me, audio, I would put that in Creative Commons. If it's more technical stuff, I would put that in either the GPL or MIT.
Cool. All right, we've got 2 minutes. You can take a breath, relax. And I'm going to hand presenter to, hold on, who's the next person? That's Nai. So I'll have, and I can set up and start whenever he feels ready. Where are you on this list? There you are. Cool.
Oh, there it is.